Hello, today our group will be presenting on general purpose of grant proposal for our course Technical Writing English 3155 for our lecturer Dr. McKay. Our group members are Anelli Williams, Alvo Velasquez, Brianna Young, and myself, Gershom Rodriguez. The learning outcome for our grant proposal will be learn what is a grant proposal. You will also be able to understand its purpose and how to write one, analyzing of a proposal, and at the end we will do a short test to test your knowledge on what we have presented for you today. Our group members will be presenting on the adaptation project proposal. The name of our proposal is Belize Marine Conservation and Climate Adaptation Project. The project is classified as a regular project that will be implemented in Belize. The primary objective of the adaptation project is to implement the ecosystem-based marine conservation and climate adaptation measures to strengthen the climate resilience of the Belize Barrier Reef. The project will be funded by the World Bank for a value of $6 million US. The project will focus on various areas such as investing in measures that will protect the ecological health of the natural ecosystem. It will also help with reducing fishing pressures, such as adding no fishing zones.
Grant. A grant is a formal document that you submit to a funding agency or an investing organization to persuade them to provide the requested support by showing that you have a plan or have a reason to advance a certain valuable cause, and that the team is fully capable of the proposed goal that you would then submit. This is the grant for the proposal that we choose. An element of a grant proposal. So in a grant proposal, you will have a title page and a cover page, the introduction or the abstract or the summary, the institutional background, the problem statement, the program goals, the methods, the evaluation plan, the future funding, the budget, and other components. Parts of a grant proposal. So for the grant proposal, we have the organization information, the need or the situation, the solution or activities, the measurement and evaluation and the budget narrative, along with the attachments. The organizational background. The organizational background of a grant application may be called the introduction or the applicant description. Wherever the title is where you would explain your organization and what it's all about to convince the funder that you are capable of doing what your proposal says you can. This part of the grant should be no longer than 3 pages, and you should stick to the information that best establishes your organization credibility and ability to accomplish the goals. And the purpose of the background information is so that the funder knows that you are financially stable, that you are well managed, provide essential community services, understand community needs, and has a board of staff members that reflects the diversity of the community. And this is the background information for our proposal. Here it says that the proposed concept focuses on the marine ecosystem of Belize, given the reef's importance to the livelihood and serving as a buffer against the storm surges. So that's just the basic background for our proposal. The neater situation. Now here, this is where you should see it, or what you would want to address the present statistics or the anecdotes that demonstrate the need for this proposal. There should be some sort of data out there to support whatever you're trying to do. You can use the internet and so forth. And if possible, you can use information relevant to your service area. Use demographic information. You can do school testing results or other studies, and this is how our proposal neater situation looks. Here we have what they're trying to improve the protection regime of the marine and coastal ecosystem. They to promote the viable and sustainable alternative livelihood for affected users and raising awareness and disseminating information. Solution or activities. The solution or activities is often the largest part of the proposal, where you would then be specific about the activities that you plan to accomplish and how those activities will lead to change. The purpose is the goals and objective. You will have to include your goals as part of the activity section, and there should be critical point for the funders because they can be presented separately or together. You should state one or the three overarching goals that relate to the community. It can be the timeline or the personnel. And this is how the solution or activities plan for this proposal here. Here they give a chart estimating how the evolution of the relative coral covers over time for the 4 different latitudes under EA1B scenario. And this is objective solution or a thing to try. And they also give the components for financing. Next is the measurement and evaluation. Measurement and evaluation. If you do receive the grant money, you must report to your funder about the difference the money made. If you have a program or initiative already in existence, you might start doing some measurement of its impact. Attendance figures are not enough in this information age, so you should also provide some evidence that indicates you having a positive effect, and the challenges in your proposal will need to provide at least an outline on how you plan to manage or measure your success. Here what our proposal did, they made a map showing the capital income of the population in Belize, and they also made the expansion of the marine reserve and the no-take zone in the Ternef Atoll. And they also give the value of ecosystem services generated by the coral reefs and mangrove contribution between 15% and 22% of the GDP in Belize. And these are all measurement and evaluation for their proposal. The budget and budget narrative. The budget and budget narrative is to demonstrate to the funder that you know what the financial resources needed for success will be. No funder wants to give money to someone who can't guarantee that their plan will work. For general operating proposal, you can include your annual budget, or you can do program grants. You must also provide a project or program budget that the items you included in your grant concept proposal sheet is more detailed. This is what our proposal did. They provided justification for the project, the adoption. They gave a baseline. They also give some estimate cost for if trouble were to arise. They gave an alternative scenario, and they also provided a good estimate about what the budget would be, which in this case was 6 million, including both the execution costs and the entity fee. Attachments. And finally, there are a number of additional pieces of information a funder may request. Most will not accept media of any kind, but it is common for you to be asked, like, on the website address. Most common attachment would be, the cover letter, the cover sheet, the financial statements, the list of additional funders, and a list of the board members and their affiliations. And these are all the attachment that our proposal included. They gave the policy letter from Honorable Gaspar Vega. They give, and this is a 4-page document. They also gave the annex proposed marine conservation and climate adoption measures, which is a lot of pages. And lastly, the annex endorsement letters. And they had many more, but these are just a couple that I picked out for this project.
Hi. Um, Today I will be presenting on clarity of a proposal. When we want to explain clarity in a proposal is important because of the following reason. One, we have to know the purpose. We have to be very clear on the purpose of our proposal. Two, the content have to be easy to understand. When we do a proposal, we want to make our donors understand our purpose. Three, the author have to focus on the subject. Like in this proposal that I'm showing here, the subject is about Belize marine conservation and climate adaptation. Here, we can see that the project executing cost is for 520,000 US. Here, we can also see the financial request that they're requesting of $600,000. Like we see, it's clearly for the purpose of the project and the amount that they're requesting. 4, here we have to use familiar words. We always want our donors to understand what we are requesting for this proposal. When we do a proposal, also we have to ask this question: who are the persons that we want to target? What is the purpose of this proposal? Where will this proposal be done? Why is this proposal done? How we are going to develop this proposal? These questions are very important when it comes to clarity of a proposal. Now let's look on to conscientiousness. Conscientiousness in a proposal is important too. Here we want the donors or the readers be able to understand the proposal and not present a challenge to understand. Here we can use any short words or sentence used in the proposal. Like in the objective, we can use 1, 2, 3, 4, showing like this is the purpose of the proposal. Having a title so that the donors can understand more about this proposal and not make it challenging for them with too much words. Accessibility in a proposal. Accessibility is very important in this proposal. Here, in this sample of this proposal of Belize Marine Conservation and Climate Adaptation, here we can see that they have a page layout. We see that they have bold for what they want the donors understand. Here we always see the heading and subheadings of the proposals, and it's easy to locate. In this proposal, we located a table of content where it says what each page is explained, like the financial, how the financial will be developed. All of that is very important when it comes to accessibility in a proposal. Thank you.
Good day, everyone. My name is Anela Williams, and today I will be presenting on the audience. The intended audience for this grant proposal is for the Adoption Fund Board and Secretariat, which is located in Washington, D.C. in the USA. What the audience should take away: 1, the objectives; 2, how the funds will be used; 3, the importance of the proposal; which is to implement the priority ecosystem-based marine conservation and climate adaptation measures to strengthen the climate resilience of the Belize Barrier Reef system. My name is Anela Williams, and I will be presenting on the accuracy of this grant proposal. I believe the grant proposal is very accurate, but I do believe some sentence structures can be improved. So here we'll move on to grammar. I believe this sentence, Belize present an early case of potential negative ecosystem-wide impacts on its coral reef introduced by climate change-related damages, can be worded differently. Here is a way on how it can be worded. An early example of climate change's potential negative ecosystem-wide impacts on its coral reef. I believe the statement above can be worded in a different way. Vulnerability of the country to the foreseeable can be worded in a different way, such as the country's vulnerability to the foreseeable, which to me is more flowing.
The summary. The parts of a grant proposal. So as we discussed, a grant proposal can be broken down into the following section: the organizational information, the need or situation, the solution or activities, which include the goals and objective, the timeline, and the personnel. It also, another part of the grant proposal is the measurement and evaluation, the budget and budget narrative, the attachment, which includes the cover letter, cover sheets, financial statements, lists of additional funders, and so forth. Next is the 5 traits of technical writing. So for clarity is saying that you have said what you wanted to say in an organized fashion, and for our proposal, we decided to give it a 4 out of 5. Conciseness, and that is when you are using only the necessary amount of words to describe an idea, and our proposal did pretty good. They got a 4 out of 5. Next is accessibility, which is the ability for users to search, acquire, download, and understand complex situation, and for the most part we understood what they were saying, so we gave them a 4 out of 5. The audience, the intended or potential for readers. And while it was not intended for everyone, it was well written enough that almost everyone can understand. Anyone who read it could understand it. The accuracy, which depends on the writer's conceptual mastery of the subject and its vocabulary, as well as his or her ability to analyze and shape data with a minimum of distortion. And for that, we gave this proposal a 4 out of 5. Relevancy, the relevancy of grant proposal, and the grant proposal can provide significant funds with one proposal. They do not have to be paid back to the grantor agency. Grants can provide resources to do a lot of important work, such as address a local or national problem, build infrastructure, and perform academic research. Receiving a grant can be prestigious and give an organizational instant credibility and public exposure. Winning a grant can make it easier to raise money from other government and private sources. After all, success often breeds more success. They can also be one or few alternatives available to implement certain projects, and a grant is not limited to the number of grants an organization can apply for a year. Questions. Okay, question number 1. Name at least 3 parts of a general grant. Question 2. Name all 5 traits of technical writing. 3. Give a brief definition of a grant. Question number 4. Name at least 2 attachments needed for a grant proposal. Question 5. What is the purpose of an organizational background? Please take your time to answer your questions. The answers. These are the answers for the previous questions. That is it for the presentation. Thank you for listening and watching. Bye.